Joining us now is former Israeli government spokesman Eylon Levy, who is currently taking over in he's taking cover, by the way, in a bomb shelter in Tel Aviv as we speak. Welcome. Tell us what
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Tell us what's happening on the ground right now.
Well, just minutes ago, we had a siren in Tel Aviv and everyone had to run into a bomb shelter or find a public shelter. I'm here now surrounded by neighbors who came down, but also random people from the street who came in. חברים, אם אפשר שקט, בבקשה, אני מתראיין עכשיו בפוקס ניוז בארצות הברית. Everyone has had to run to seek shelter because these Iranian ballistic missiles are being deliberately targeted at civilian areas. Overnight, we had whole buildings flattened. And so Israelis know when the siren sounds, you cannot take any risks. You can't just wait in the stairwell. You have to go deep into a bomb shelter and wait till you get the all clear to come out.
Does it tell you anything that these missiles are being launched in broad daylight versus the middle of the night?
Yeah. This is the first time that we've had Iranian ballistic missiles being fired in the middle of the day as opposed to the middle of the night, catching everyone off guard because they thought they would have until the evening. Israelis are well drilled. Unfortunately, they know what it is like to run into bomb shelters because Israel has been under attack by Iran's proxy armies for so many years. But this threat is very different. We know the Iranian regime is launching dozens of missiles at the same time to try to overwhelm Israel's missile defenses, and that it is deliberately aiming at Israel's civilian areas and civilian buildings. And Israel has made some amazing achievements in the last few days. We control the airspace over Tehran. And I think that the leaders of the regime in Iran need to think very carefully before they continue to bombard Israel's population centers.
As a former government official and spokesperson, I really would love your opinion on this, because I think this is the question that really needs to be asked the most. And that's, you know, Donald Trump says, hey, come to the negotiation table. Israel has shown they have the resilience to stick to this plan of attack they have. Now Iran has, we'll say, escalated their attacks, attacking city centers in the daylight. Is there a future at all with this regime in charge of Iran that doesn't include pursuing nuclear weapons and supplying terrorist organizations that eventually attack Israel and the U.S.?
You hit the nail on the head there. The root cause of the conflict in the Middle East is that Iran is governed by a radical fundamentalist religious regime that is trying to oppress the entire region in pursuit of its vision of destroying Israel. And Israel has now launched this operation to eliminate the twin threats of an Iranian nuclear bomb and ballistic missiles, because it understands that the regime is committed to Israel's destruction. That's the root of the conflict between us. Israel wants to exist, and the Iranian regime doesn't want us to exist. So, you know, the regime now has two choices, and I hope it acts rationally. Either it takes up President Trump's offer to negotiate the peaceful dismantling of its uranium enrichment and the end of its aggression, or Israel will dismantle its nuclear facilities from the sky.
Eylon, you're now facing two fronts of a war. You still have the war in Gaza. Now you're at war and in a bunker with Iran. What is the mood of the people in the room with you right now? What is happening? How do they feel about being in this position on both sides here?
Yeah, it's more than a two-front war. Since Hamas invaded with the October 7th massacre, Israel has been under attack on 8 fronts, including attacks on Jews and Israelis around the world, including in the United States. Yesterday, we had combined missile fire from Yemen and Iran at the same time, because Iran has surrounded Israel with proxy armies. People here in the room there's a quiet resilience. People are used to this. They know how to just try to get on with their day and not get too scared. But hey, for people with kids, for elderly people who can't run down the stairs in 90 seconds, it's scary. These aren't the missiles we're used to. These are long-range ballistic missiles with half a ton of TNT in them that can destroy entire buildings. And people know when they run down into the bomb shelter, there's a real chance there isn't going to be a home to go back to when we go back upstairs. And that's why Israel has said we have to take out this threat of the Iranian ballistic missiles when they have only 2,000 missiles and not wait for them to have 20,000 missiles.
You know, one of the things that you commonly hear is that there are a lot of your neighbors, neighboring countries, who see Iran as a belligerent problem in the region. and that they privately are hoping that you all are successful and that you eliminate the regime that controls Iran and that you prevent them from getting a nuclear bomb. Why is it that and some of those countries, like Jordan and Saudi Arabia, have been helping shoot down some of these ballistic missiles that Iran has been firing at Israel? Why aren't those countries at a moment like that, your neighbors, stepping up and more vocally and openly supporting your effort to finally put Iran in its place?
That's an excellent question, and maybe you should ask those Arab countries to explain their hypocrisy, because it's clear that in private, everyone is celebrating Israel holding Iran to account for years of regional aggression and the threat of going nuclear. No one wants to see Iran getting a nuclear bomb, and no one wants to see it continuing to sow destruction and chaos across the Middle East. The path to peace runs through dismantling Iranian aggression. And when you free countries like Lebanon and Syria from the yoke of Iranian oppression, and other countries don't have to look over their shoulder, we can expand the Abraham Accords like President Trump wants to do and have peace in the Middle East. But for now, maybe they just don't have the courage to come out and say what everyone knows privately. They're gunning for Israel to win this.
Right. So Israel is very well equipped. We've had guests on all morning that said if it stayed a war between Israel and Iran, no other countries involved are arming. Israel outmatches Iran when it comes to military. But for all intents and purposes, Israel is still fighting a war, or at least an operation in Gaza. And some of the analysis is that if Iran is further debilitated in their conventional military, they support what we would call guerrilla warfare or terrorist tactics. Is there enough of Hamas left, either in Gaza or anywhere in the territory, to create a problem while Israel is distracted, basically looking up at the sky right now?
Yeah, just take a look at the extraordinary change in the Middle East since the beginning of the October 7th war. Iran surrounded Israel with a ring of fire and wanted to watch it burn. It surrounded Israel with proxy armies that could attack Israel at the same time and protect Iran's illegal nuclear weapons program. Now, Hamas is still holding 55 hostages. 20 of them are still alive and being starved and tortured in dungeons under Gaza. But Hamas isn't managing to fire rockets at Israel. Hezbollah is sitting this out. The Assad regime is nowhere to be seen, and Iran has been left completely alone. And the Iranian regime, its nuclear project and its ballistic missiles are now completely exposed to Israeli air power as we hold the Islamic Republic to account for its years of regional aggression.
Is there frustration among people where you are right now in that bomb shelter that maybe Iran has succeeded at overwhelming the Iron Dome, or is there frustration that the Iron Dome is not working as well as maybe it should? Do you sense any of that from the people you're with?
When people are down in the bomb shelter, they're anxious because we don't know when the missiles are going to land. And you can expect statistically some of Iran's missiles are going to get through. So people are always listening to hear the booms and trying to work out, hang on, was that an interception? Was that an impact? How far away was it? Of course, if you're deep underground where I am, 2 floors underground, the booms are very muffled. But for people who are much closer to the interceptions, it can make the whole building shake. And then you really know whether it was an interception or whether a rocket just landed nearby.
So Reuters is reporting that there are in fact, explosions going off all around Tel Aviv right now. What are you hearing right now as we speak? Do you hear any of those sounds that could be interceptions or could be missiles landing?
Right now, I'm not hearing anything because I have AirPods in both my ears and I'm hearing the broadcast with you. But I'm yet to fill up on the news of what has been happening.
And how are you able?
Tel Aviv.
We have a very good connection. How is that? Are you connected to a hard line, or do you all have cell reception down there?
One neighbor with great ingenuity managed to install Wi-Fi in the bomb shelter, and it's an absolute lifesaver because we're able to keep up with news outside.
Yeah, that's imperative in this moment. Yeah. Absolutely.
I've got a good friend in Tel Aviv because of the nature of what he does. Can't really be a part of our on air, but he was saying he's been there for a while, a few weeks, and he was saying just a couple of days ago how remarkably and surprisingly I guess, resilient or there's no state of panic among the people, even in Tel Aviv, when this happens? Is it that you live life in Tel Aviv knowing this can happen at any moment? Is it that the people of Tel Aviv understand the situation, so there's no reason to panic? What makes the people in Tel Aviv right now, according to him, kind of stone-faced and understanding?
Yeah, there is no panic. I mean, yesterday I went for a walk on the beach and the boardwalk was packed and people were playing volleyball and even swimming in the sea. And Israelis don't panic for two reasons. One, we know that if there is a siren, we're going to get, here I see everyone leaving, so we must have just received an alert that the sirens are over. Good. Israelis know that before a siren, we'll get an advance warning as much as half an hour before telling us to seek shelter, because Israel sees when the Iranian regime is about to fire missiles. So they know there's no need to panic. You'll have plenty of time to find shelter. But also, this is just something that comes with experience. We have had weeks where the Houthis in Yemen will fire a missile at Israel basically every single night, waking the whole country up. So it's tragic that Israelis are used to this, but this is 20 months into a 7-front war. And after many more years of rocket fire from Hezbollah and Hamas, and Israelis have become used to the unthinkable, but we absolutely can't let anyone think that this reality is normal. And what Israel is fighting to do now is to restore security, so we don't have to treat it as normal that we get a missile siren at any moment and have to run for shelter, because that's not normal.
If you can you tell us where specifically you are in Tel Aviv, or are you in the central part of Tel Aviv? Are you near the beach now, or are you in the outskirts, kind of?
I am in my apartment building in central Tel Aviv. New buildings in Israel built since 1992 have their own bomb shelters in each apartment. It's crazy. If you go around with a realtor to rent an apartment and they say your house has a bomb shelter, that's a big bonus, and you sign that rental contract straight away. Older buildings have a bomb shelter in the basement like this one, and some buildings don't have a bomb shelter at all, and then people have to go to public bomb shelters. You can see the information online. Tel Aviv, the whole country is completely filled with public bomb shelters. But this is the basement of my building in Tel Aviv.
All right. Well, Eylon, we really hope that you stay safe. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and everybody in the region. There are children all across the region right now that are hearing sirens in Israel and also in Iran. And these are scary times that can really escalate. We hope it doesn't, and we hope things resolve quickly. Thank you for spending so much time with us in the middle of this crisis. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. My pleasure.
God bless you.
You kept me calm.
Stay safe.
You got it.
Thank you.
Kept us calm.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.